Skype, and we're going to say hi to all the Twitch people. But y'all, this is the first time using Restream to stream to YouTube events, which is their new thing. And it's looking right now like Restream is not correctly sending to the YouTube event, even though it says it is.
Oh, it does. There are
it is?
2 streams. Yeah, there's one scheduled stream.
Oh, goodness.
And another one that works.
Okay. So we need to put a link to the one that's working in the ones that are not working then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's frustrating, but that explains why.
Yeah, that should be the right one.
Great. So I'll copy this one
yeah.
and I'll paste it to the other folks. Sorry, y'all. Looks like Restream created 2 streams. Here's the right one. Okay, so hopefully that gets everybody from the wrong one into the right one, and I can feel bad, but whatever, it is life. All right, so I believe we're now live on Twitch. Before we say anything else, everybody, can you hear my audio and Marcel's audio correctly? It takes them, just so you know, Marcel, takes them about 8 seconds to be able to hear what we're saying.
I know.
Get a little bit of lag. Vince says yes. Great. All right, hey everybody. So let's pull up our episode notes for this one. We were about to just write out what we're doing. All right. So if you've never showed up to one of my streams before, welcome. Nice to see you all again. If you have, thanks for hanging out again. I'm a bit low, says Muzaffer. Okay. I might just not be on my mic enough. Okay. Let's see if that helps. And this time, wonderfully, I'm joined by my friend Marcel. So Marcel, would you say hi to anybody who has not actually gotten to know you before?
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, it's cool that we can do this together and explore the wonderful Valet some more.
Yeah, we got some fun plans for today.
Yeah.
So the reason that we're doing this stream, in part, is just because Marcel's great. I like him, and I've been wanting to stream again for a while, but because of the pandemic, I was really not able to do anything like this with kids' schedules and everything like that. But also, Marcel was talking to Dr. Byte, or Chris, and me, and just saying, hey, I have some ideas for Valet. Do you guys have time to work on this? And Dr. Byte has been probably... So I'm the maintainer of Valet, meaning like I'm the person who handles the pull requests and the issues and stuff like that. But Chris has really been the person who understands the kind of the guts, the internals of Valet better than anybody else for a while. And so we said, hey, Chris, is this something you're thinking about doing? He said, eventually, but I'm pretty busy right now. So Marcel and I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take these 2 big ideas that Marcel has, and we're going to kind of try and do them ourselves on a stream and see how it goes. So we have a couple cool ideas that we want to work on. And Marcel, since you were kind of the one who came to us for these 2 ideas, why don't you kind of introduce at least the one we're going to start with today, and maybe you can give a quick preview of what the next one's going to be too.
Yeah, sure. So the first idea that I had was that it would be cool to have kind of a default site in Valet that would get returned instead of a 404 page. So I could visit whatever site and then get this default site. But instead of only having a customizable 404 site, this could add some logic. So, for example, you could see all your registered sites, maybe informations about those sites. So sort of like a UI kind of for Valet that sits right within Valet as a fallback. So that was the one idea. And then I don't know if we have to dive into this as we do this, but the other idea was in Valet, there are currently already extensions, so you can add custom code to Valet, but the way they work right now is just you have to copy specific files into the .valet extensions folder, so it's not super developer friendly, and I don't think they can do stuff like add custom commands or anything like that. So the ability to just customize Valet some more with extensions that in best case can be installed via Composer would be the other idea.
Yeah, and when everybody saw that it was going to be you and me streaming together in Valet, of course, the first thing they all said was, Valet and Expose, is that going to be the thing? And I think it would be totally a
Right. Yeah.
reasonable kind of first plugin would be to make a first-party, Valet shared equivalent that ends up using Expose instead. And if anybody doesn't know, Marcel created something called Expose that's basically a PHP-powered version of the same thing as what ngrok does. So right now, Valet Share uses ngrok to share your site publicly, and you can use Expose with Valet already. But if we were to build it first party, third party, but a third party integration that puts it directly into your Valet commands, that's something we could do that'd be pretty cool too. So today, the original goal for today was to say we're going to make a default / fallback site for Valet instead of 404s. I'm sorry to anybody who missed the first 12 minutes, but the good news is the first 8 of those 12 minutes was literally just us trying to figure out why there were 2 streams. So you just missed us saying what we're going to be working on is what I'm writing right now. So, and then make that site configurable by the user, and give access to a list of registered sites, the TLD, and anything else interesting to that site. So this morning, before we started, I was doing a little bit of digging around trying to figure out where we would put this functionality, and we discovered that this feature actually already exists in Valet, and it was added to the documentation as recently as 1 year ago. However, it was, and this is Marcel's discovery, it was added to the 6.x documentation right before Laravel 7 released, and so it never actually
One
made
day
it into
before.
the 7. You say 1 day, and so because of that, it was the 7 documentation had already been forked from the 6 documentation, so it never made it into the 7 documentation. So part of what we want to do today is already done, but that's fine because that means we're more likely to complete what we want to do today in the span of time that we actually have available to us. So we already have this concept called a default site that, and I should look up the name of the person who originally contributed it, but this is where Chris added it, the documentation, where all you do is basically in your config file, you add this default, and then you can say, here's my default. So if I were to go and just basically create a new site, and I know that my, sorry, y'all, I know that my terminal is always too small for streamers, so let me just fix that real quick. All right. So if I were to come in here and I were to go to this and I would just say, make dir fallback, cd fallback, and then make dir public, and then touch index.html, and then hello world. Okay, so that would be my fallback site. So right now, if I were to go and just say blah, 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 .test, you're going to see us 404. But if I go to my Valet config, and I hope I have the most up-to-date version on this machine, which is going to be vim, so it's going to be ./config/valet/config.json. And so I would go in here, and I were just to give myself a default, and I would just point it to any directory in my entire computer. So users /Matt Stauffer /sites. What did I name it? Default or fallback?
A default.
Fallback,
yeah, right.
Fallback.
Yeah.
So if you come over here, we're now going to see hello world. So that bit of the functionality actually already exists, which is kind of cool because that means if we go back over to Notion, this is already done. So we had talked quite a bit about, so Marcel's original idea was to do it exactly like this, where every single person can park a specific site here. And I was like, oh, that's going to be work. We're going to have to add it to the config. Why don't we make it so that whatever site serves at valet.test is just your default? And he's like, okay, but now this is already, this already exists. Let's just use it this way, right? So everybody who has Valet that's at least within the last 2 years already can make their own default or fallback site, which is really cool because you know how like people would always do these things where when you create a new tab, it shows like your favorite things or whatever. Well, oh man, Santosh, could you go to the other live stream link and just ping all them in a comment and just remind them that there's a different stream? I'm hoping they're.
I also tweeted out the correct link.
Thank you. I don't know how to go stream to there as well. I'm assuming for anybody who's watching the live playback after the fact, and I'm sorry that we're putting you through this, but I want to make sure that those people aren't just sitting twiddling their thumbs. Let me see if I can real quick switch to that one. Will it let me go live on the wrong one, basically. Y'all can see I watched lots of ADHD and Tiny Desks. I don't know if it's actually going to let me just kind of like go live over there and say, hey, everybody, we're doing something else. So hopefully they'll all check the chats when you all did do that. Okay, cool. So so this is a little bit sort of like, hey, you know, when I create a new tab, show me this one thing. Well, we can do this thing where, you know, you create a new tab, you know, just type whatever.test and it's going to show your stuff there. So you could just make this a list of your favorite bookmarks or what the site you're currently working on, which I think is kind of cool. The original proposal pull request actually suggested the idea of making a command that you could use to set this one. The reason that they ended up deciding not to do it is because there was not great. My link didn't show up in the chat for some reason. Okay, but Muzaffar, you did put the link. Hopefully that'll fix it. So the originally, hey Nuno, the original problem they had was somebody else joined a second ago. Hey Christoph. They couldn't come up with a good command for it. So they were looking at things like, well, if it's going to be Valet, because it was originally called Valet fallback, but they changed it to Valet default. And one of the things that Adam kind of mentioned was, well, if you say Valet remove default or default removed, it just seems weird because it's not really kind of the most reasonable thing. One thing I was thinking about is we could potentially bring it back, but have a different syntax where it's going to be something where instead of remove, it's going to be like 404 or something like that. So we could potentially talk about maybe bring the command back. But for right now, if somebody wants to do a fallback site, again, you just edit this file, .config/valet/config.json, and you just add a key named default and then just point it to a site. So obviously people would use it a little bit more. Hey Kai, hey Ryan, hey, oh yeah, that's the only people. So if we could add a command, you know, that might make it better. Some command syntax, so it doesn't require editing config.json, question mark. So for everybody who just showed up, we had the idea of making a fallback site. So when you type an unmatched site into Valet, it still shows you something. Then we discovered early this morning that feature already exists, but it kind of slipped through in the documentation. So it's in the 6.x documentation, but not in the 7 and 8. I was originally thinking, why don't we pull request it here? But I kind of want, you know what we could do? I was going to say, I kind of want Dr. Byte to get credit for that, but we could just pull request it 7 and 8 right now and add him as a co-author in GitHub. So, but I do think that updating documentation is maybe not the most interesting thing to do in a stream. So let's do it later. Hey, Debjeet. So I will say PR the same documentation into 7.x and 8.x. So can you provide a Valet/default? That way no command is required since it exists natively.
That's pretty much, I guess, what you wanted with the default valet.test site.
Yeah. So my original idea was that there's going to like when you first go to the website, there's going to be a valet.test, and then whatever serves from there. So you're seeing this right here because I happen to have the Valet app itself in here. But my idea was that there's going to be a valet.test, which is the default that ships with it, and then if you want to connect it, you get that. And I think that that's probably something what we should do is today, what I'm thinking we do, and I know I'm jumping around a lot, everybody. What I think we could do today is make a site that we like, that we think makes sense to have as the default, and then over the span of the next hour, basically say, do we like this? And then we can put it up as a proposal in the issues and just say, does everybody think that this is a good fallback? Or is this more something that only some people are going to want? Because what we don't want is for people to see it and be confused about why it's there, especially when they're used to a 404, right? So I think what we can do right now is just say, why don't we imagine what that site's going to look like? Because Marcel had some ideas about what that site could look like. And why don't we kind of start there, right? And try to look what it looks like for that site to be useful, meaning it actually can consume some things from Valet, like the list of paths that we have available to us. And then from there, decide whether it should be the default. So far, we have the idea of all of the sites that are parked or linked. The TLD. Is there anything else that you, Marcel or chatters, any of y'all would really think would be relevant to have on that site?
I think it really depends on how much we want to add there. I started working on this Valet UI Electron app, and I think there's a lot of overlap of what we could achieve in such a default site. So for example, we could show all sites that are parked, and because we know that this is a Laravel site or this is a WordPress site because of the driver that they use, we could show different information on those parked sites. For example, allow users to, with a click of a button, connect to Table Plus and open the database. If it's
That's
a
a
Laravel
really cool
app
idea.
or stuff like that. Or, yeah, I think it really depends on how far we want to go there. Right, and Christoph said which site has SSL.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be nice. Yeah. Yeah. So in the Electron app, I also had a button where you can say secure site
I was
or
just writing that
unsecure,
right
and then
now.
and then it would just do this.
Because I mean, these buttons could theoretically just call, command line valet calls themselves.
Right. Yeah.
All right. That's a cool idea, Musafir. So if I type in, I'm off by a letter or something like that, we can maybe propose similar.
Yeah. Did you mean whatever?
Mm-hmm. So this would be a link. I'm trying to remember what else the other contextual menus you suggested were. A link to open your. Cool. So there's a lot of cool ideas there. I love this. So what we want to do is recognize that this is a lot of high-level information that we want to be able to get out of Valet that right now Valet doesn't expose, as far as I know, in JSON. So I feel like the first idea would be to either recognize that somehow we're going to make all that information available to every site that we serve, or we have to make this information available out of JSON, so hold on, let's actually write this down. So question is basically, how does all this data become available to the site? So I was thinking one of the things could be valet command exposing all this data as JSON, right? It's literally just like something like valet, I don't know, list JSON or something like that, right? And that like gives you literally everything you need in JSON, and anybody else can do it. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. John Sugar says, "Show am I up to date?" So it's not necessarily
cool
just
idea.
site, Valet specific information. Am I up to date on the latest version? All right, so it could be, it's not officially available for Windows, but there are forks for Windows and Linux, and I would like, as the Valet maintainer, I would like to see it working for Windows and Linux eventually as first-party support. But that is going to be a little bit more in the plate of Dr. Byte, Chris, because he's the one who has to deal with that more than me. I have dreams, and he has the extra. I'm like the salesperson, and he's like the coder. So I can't promise it, but I like the idea a lot of everything we make being functional for Windows and Linux. So, all right, so we could have a Valet command exposing this all as JSON, or we can make all this information available somehow to every site, which seems kind of awkward to me because every site that Valet serves kind of goes through this server.php. But the thing is, how are you going to make this much rich of information available to every single site that's served? Like, it's not like you can have the app container and always bind it in the app container or something like that. They might not be a Laravel site. So I don't really know how you do that. Are there any other ways we should be considering for this?
What I thought is, so if we have this default site, it could just be a like a Laravel app, if we think about it, that has a composer require of Valet itself. And then we just use the Valet class that already has methods like, I think, get parked or something like that. And then we just use that internally.
So we might have to make those methods public or something like that, depending on. Although most of them are just functions; they're not even classes or anything like that.
Yeah, I think there's like a facade kind of going on in Valet.
I mean, that certainly would be the easiest one because it doesn't require any changes to Valet. So maybe we start there. This is why I should just let you talk first sometimes.
Yeah, I think it depends on how we want to distribute the app, because if we we actually plan on adding it to Valet at some point, this probably wouldn't work because, as you mentioned, Valet still needs to support PHP 5.6. So if we would decide to create a default Laravel app, well, we need to go with the low version if we want to do that.
And I mean, there are people who expose their entire Valet out to the public, which means I don't really feel super comfortable making a default Laravel app that that isn't security fixed. So
yeah,
let's go
to
to
also
versions.com.
really depends if we want to ship this out of the box or if it's something that you have to opt in and say, I want this default side.
I'm more inclined to say, let's build it now. And if we decide in order to provide 5.6 compatibility, we have to make it not a Laravel app in order to make that, or somehow really lock it down or something like that, then we make that decision later because we only got an hour. You know what I mean? Does that sound okay by you?
Right. Sure.
So I would just say, let's just make a Laravel 8 app and just kind of just call it there. Okay. So Kai had the idea of putting in what PHP version you're using and what version a given site needs, which I think is really cool. So let's show which PHP version it requires. I think this is all really great stuff, and I'm really glad we're doing this on a stream. Okay, so I think that our steps to do right now are make a Laravel app, require, let's say, Laravel 8 for now. We'll downgrade if we decide to ship this out of the box. Thanks, Andre. Out of the box. And require Valet and see if we can get the information we want out of that. Hey, Joseph, I missed you all too. And we've got Marcel streaming now too, which is awesome. I'm really excited. Marcel is one of the most, I think he may be the most prolific creator in the entire Laravel ecosystem. Maybe other than Taylor. And everything Marcel has ever made or done, I've been a huge fan of. And so I'm happy to call him my friend, but I'm also really excited that you all get to kind of share this goodness. All right, so let's make a new site. So it's so funny. As the person who maintains Lambo, my Lambo is not actually up to always in a state where it can be used healthfully because it's always like in the middle of features. But let me see if I can make sure Lambo is in the most. It's probably in a beta or something like that. Okay, cool. So let's try Lambo, and we'll just call it. Oh, I already had fallback. Oops, Lambo new fallback in the new one. In 404 page, not found, you want to initialize. That's an interesting idea. The only thing with that is initialize could mean a lot of things. I wonder, can you do a button link that opens something in your terminal?
So in the Valet UI app, there's like a add site button, which would have like a modal where you can create a new Valet app, a new Laravel app, and then choose.
Oh, that's cool.
If you want to add Jetstream. So maybe that could work as well.
Oh yeah, no, Christoph, he definitely does. I don't know. Do you have a dog, Marcel? I don't think you have a dog, right?
Yeah. You heard him. You heard him yesterday.
Oh yeah, you're right. You do have a dog. I did hear him.
Yeah.
So no, he's got everything, y'all. People are trying to figure out how you're able to do so much.
I do sometimes too.
Yep. All right. So sorry, you were just talking, and I was being distracted by people trying to figure out your dog. Can you tell me again what you were just saying?
So we could add a button that would open up a modal or something where you can create a new Laravel app. But yeah, I don't know if we want to make it that Laravel specific. I guess most people use Valet with Laravel, but I mean, it works with any app. So
yeah, so let's just call it an idea. Cool. All right, so Lambo just did its thing. So we've got it open VS Code, and we've got fallback.test. I don't know why it didn't open that for me. I probably have my thing set weird. Okay, cool. So this is our fallback.test. So we are going to try and compose or require Laravel/Valet. And can everybody see that font size okay? Oh, Christoph was joking. Sorry. It's so hard for me to go back and forth between things. Oh, geez. All right. So we've got access to it. So let's imagine we're going to build something really simply. Hey, Andre. What's going on, man? Hey, Tim. Oh, we don't have home controller. Jeez, I'm so not used to what it's like when you don't have auth built in out of the box. Okay, so let's just do it all in here. We're doing it live. And so we need to be able to get our list. So first thing we would want to do, what's the simplest thing? Just get a list of linked sites, right? Because then we don't have to deal with the park. So for anybody who doesn't know, there's a difference between link and park. Park is serve everything out of this directory. Link is I want you to link this very specific directory. I don't think I actually have anything linked. Can you even figure that out in Valet? Does Valet itself? What?
You mean which sites are linked?
Yeah. I feel like we do have it. Valet links. I thought we had that somewhere. Okay, so so I don't have anything linked. So let me link something really quickly. I think I can link something even when it's already linked, but let's not do the one we're in right now. So let's link Symposium. I'm trying to remember what the syntax is for Valet link. Oh, okay, easy enough. Okay, cool. So Valet links should now give us something. Yep. Okay, so I think the simplest thing for us to do is just get all links. So links equals something. So if we were in, so let's open up Valet over here. Hi, Dustin. All right, so in Valet, let's look up commands for links. So if anybody's not familiar, the way Valet works in general is that you've got the server.php, and the configuration that Valet exposes is in here. And basically what it ends up doing is looking up your file, your configuration file, and then this basic version, what app are you trying to get to, based on like your configurations and based on the URL that you're passing in. It looks up all these configuration paths to figure out like, should we be, basically which sites are actually sites and all this kind of stuff, which ones match it. And then if nothing works, it shows the Valet 404. If it does work, then it ends up figuring out which driver are you going to serve it with, and then it loads the environment variables, and then it actually basically passes it into that one. So all of this is where it's actually happening, but it's taking advantage of other things that are happening outside of here. So you can see all your drivers in here, which we're going to ignore right now. You have some helpers, and I'm trying to remember. So the stubs, these are all for like setting it up for Valet install, so we don't need that right now. How are you able to stream and not have your computer grind to a halt? I have an iMac. That's the only reason I'm able to do it. I bet you the M1 could do it, but my old computer couldn't do it at all. But all the actual PHP classes live in this Valet thing. So this is where it actually gets into what you're much more familiar with. And so this is where the majority of this is more the stuff that Chris, Dr. Byte, takes care of, not me. So I'm actually just going to go and just see if we have something named linked.
I think you can take a look at there's this lowercase valet.php file.
Okay. Is that where the commands are registered?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if we
you're right, of course.
Look for links, you should see what's being called under the hood.
There we go. All right, site links, good call. And so it makes a table, which is just a helper that basically gives you this kind of output right here with a site, SSL, URL, and path. And then you can see that and links all. So this links is going to give us an output that as basically probably a collection of some sort. And so let's go take a look at site links. Okay, can the font be a little bit bigger? It certainly can. Is it Geertjan? Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. Dustin says M1 can definitely handle this kind of streaming, which is good because I may stream from my office where I work with my. This is at my home office, but I'm just starting to go back to the office again, and I'm going to be taking my M1 Mac over there. So, all right. So, sorry, I tried to click on that and it didn't work. So, but it was site.php that we were in. I got his name right. Great, thank you. All right, links. All right, so it gets certificates path, it gets all this. Okay, so the good thing is everything in Valet is written without public or private. So in theory, all we have to do, we don't have to worry about that. All right, one font size smaller is fine.
Is that still from Adam?
It's just from Adam. Yeah, Adam Taylor wrote it that way. So we do have to new it up with the configuration of command line in the system. So we got to figure out where site is actually newed up and kind of figure out that flow right there.
Yeah, I think there is like a facade.
Oh, is there?
Helper or something like that.
Yes, the only time they're actually doing it like that. I did switch to a light VS Code theme, but I need to do something where I get a dark one at night because the light one at night is awful. Okay, so we got to basically figure out where site is instantiated. So we think it's probably going to be... Oh, are they facade? No, it must be a facade, right? Because...
Yeah, I think if you take a look at the valet.php, you should see something...
So yeah, so it's calling these without anything. So you think that's where that facade thing is happening? Oh, it actually has like a...
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right.
This is awesome. So this is what it is right now. So when it calls this, but this thing, oh, it's actually got a container. So in theory...
Let's see how this works with Laravel.
Let's see if we can just use it straight out of the box then. So let's make an instance of site and just see if Laravel can resolve it. And then I'll probably use Ray in just a second. Fire up the editor at night, eyes immediately combust. Exactly. So Keith, who works at Titan, he has a keyboard shortcut for his Sublime Text, and at night he hits that keyboard shortcut and it switches the exact same theme but dark, and I need to set that up for VS Code for sure. All right, Valet requires Homebrew to install in your Mac. Okay, which it is, but we're going to have to figure out where those tests are happening. All right. So if exec... Well, that's weird because that should still work. Right?
So this happens right out of the autoloader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like if I run that right there, you should be able to oops. You should get an answer out of this. Did I do something wrong?
Yeah, it doesn't even hit that because...
Oh, it's the autoloader. That's what you're saying. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Files are... Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Valet wasn't ever intended to be used this way. So, okay, so let's just take a look to see if there's an easy way for us to maybe do a change to the autoloader. So let's figure out our compatibility. Is that being pulled in by Composer.json?
I guess, yeah.
All right, so let's just take a look here real quick. Oh, because I'm editing the wrong one. I need to edit the Valet that is in the vendor directory of this one.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So we are in fallback. So Vim, vendor, Laravel, Valet, and then was that in
CLI
helpers? Oh, was it CLI?
Right. The facade.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's an extension for auto dark mode. I did not know that. I'm going to switch back to PHP Storm eventually, everybody. I promise I will. Wow. How is that happening? Oops. Is Valet serving something in a context where which is like different? How does it not have access to which brew?
Maybe because of the PHP ini that you are not allowed to call which from the FPM context.
You're right, Bogdanovich. I did try that. I mean, maybe. Jeez. Huh. It knows that who I am. It's serving from the directory it expects that I'm serving it from, and yet which brew is failing. Well, let's start right now by just imagining we do a pull request here that says. So let's take a note here so we don't forget. In Notion, PR Valet to allow compatibility check to skip which brew if you're in a Laravel app including it. Basically something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we basically we could skip the whole file if we are not in CLI mode.
Oh, yeah. Do you know the syntax for CLI mode off the top of your head? I never remember it.
No.
Okay, let's just Google it. I know the standard in concept. I know this one right here. I kind of thought there was a newer. This
No,
is the newer one.
I think the PHP-S API name. Yeah.
I knew there was a better one. All right, so I'm actually curious what SAPI name is when you're not in CLI.
Let's find out.
I'm also probably about to switch to Ray.
Yes, it's something like.
Oh, okay, got it. FPM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christoph says, Christoph is going to give me pressure by giving access to his PHP Storm code. I really will switch to PHP Storm, I promise. I apologized to Caleb when I asked something about VS Code the other day because he was like, that's in my course. I'm like, the only reason I haven't taken your course is because I'm trying to switch to PHP Storm. Hey, Blake JS. Yes, Dustin, you're exactly right. Okay, so we'll basically just say return, and this is going to say allow bypassing these checks. If using Valet in a Laravel app. Well, I'll just say non-CLI app. Okay. And so let's copy that actually and just... somebody says, started the stream with VS Code, promises goes back to PHP Storm, currently using Vim. Yep. All right, so let's copy this and throw it in my Valet real quick. GC. So I'm going to make a branch in Valet called allow use in non-CLI. And in that version of it, we're going to do that same change up here so that we don't forget it later.
Yeah.
All right. So in theory, this should now
give a blank page at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's weird. Why is it running twice? Constant Valet home path already defined. That's not something
yeah,
that
because
Laravel would define.
it's being served by Valet.
Oh, jeez.
So
right.
your server PHP has it.
So we would also have to But if there's only 2 such errors, we might be okay, right? So let's just dive here for a little bit. All right. So, All right, so all of these would have to be if not defined already. It's weird we're not getting the error on the other 2, right? Why are we only getting home path and static prefix, not loopback and I don't know. So for right now, let's just hide those, and then I'll put a note in my version we're doing here that says, oops. Only define these if not already defined. Okay. Okay, so we're dumping and dying on probably exec brew. Which brew? So let's go back here and let's try again.
Yep.
Hey!
Cool.
All right, so it was...
Yeah, so I have one site. All right.
Well, that's weird. So we're getting... I know, I already refreshed, please. Oh, it was... So this is
was
site.
It all?
It's
yeah, this is a site.
Sorry.
So
links.
Links, I guess. Site links.
Yeah, I just totally forgot. They're noticing I'm using Vim key bindings in VS Code. Hey, so this is the information we need. Look at this. This is freaking fantastic.
Cool.
You were absolutely right that this was the best way to do it. Okay, so let's real quick make a... so we can just do this. We might actually, let's see. So is there a way to see all your parked sites in Valet, or only just all your
I think you can only
sites?
get the folders and then...
Oh, display all the current sites within parked paths. Look at that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Hey, I love this.
All right.
So, so let's go over here. Let's go to valet.php, and then let's look for command parked, and it's site parked. Look at this. All right, so links is that, and if they're, let's see if they're the same structure too. So we want a site instance, and then we want to get all off of parked. So let's do site link. What was it? Links all.
Links, yeah.
And then site parked all. Was it linked? Probably.
No, it's a method.
Oh, a links method and a parked method. Got it. Look at this. This is freaking fantastic. So we're going to run into one problem here, which is that I have sites here for clients that I'm under NDA for.
Yeah.
So I need to censor it real quick, everybody. And I'm going to take a look at what all I have here to see if there's any on this particular computer that I have to hide for that purpose. There may not be. Hey, from Malaysia.
Hello, back to Malaysia.
All right. Let me just real quick look.
Can't the site class be dependency injected into the function? Yeah, we could do this.
Thinking about doing that
We're
next.
just pulling
the
it.
Thing is, yeah, we're just
exactly, right now. Yeah.
Go ahead, Marcel. I don't know if I can have all of these, but I bet you this is a collection. So let's just say, let's just pull 3 of them. Let's do audio, visual, and check. Well, I got to do one. Audio, visual is a Laravel app, and field goal. All right. So thank you so much, Samuel. Okay. So I learned to cut my own hair during pandemic. So what we're going to do is I said audio, visual. What was the other one I said? We should do Symposium. Okay, so I'm going to unshare now. I'm going to drop the censor. Oh, thank you for hosting my stream, Felix. All right, so is there porn? No, that it was specific stuff for my clients. So what we're going to do is, thanks, Ant. Yeah, I've been fading my son's hair for a couple years, so I finally decided to try it on myself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is when we deal with the parked ones, I'm going to filter them down temporarily so that I don't have to worry about accidentally revealing stuff. So let's do that right now. So linked equals site links all, and then parked equals site parked filter. Or can we do where in? No, whatever. Let's just do filter. Oops. And then, so for this, I want to do return site. Sorry, y'all, I don't remember what the key is.
I think name. Or is it just
the site gives it the same thing. It's the key, but it's also
key.
Yeah. That capital S site? No, lowercase s site. All right, so site. Actually, we'll just do in array.
Yeah.
And then audio visual. Symposium. And then now we can, you know what, let's ray real quick. So rather than dumping and dying. Oh, I don't have ray in this app. Okay, we'll just stick with die and dump for now. Okay. Nope. Still showing everything. What on earth is going on? I'll have to come back.
You're not dumping later. Parked.
Oh, jeez. I was in the middle of doing it, and then I switched to Ray. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. So we need linked and parked.
Yep.
All right. Interestingly, you don't get parked back if you've linked it, which I did not know. You see that? Symposium has been linked, so it's not showing up in parked. Either that or I mistyped Symposium here. No, yeah. So let's add another one. Sorry to keep censoring everybody. I promise I'm going to stop that in just a second. Let's see what's another site I can... that's an actual Laravel site. RAM.
On ramp?
Yeah, RAM. Post it. Let's see if there's anything else in here. I'm trying to get like different versions of Laravel. Nova packages. Ooh, Corando would be good because it's on a really, really, really old version of Laravel. All right, uncensored. Okay, so now let's see. Great. Okay, cool. So we've got all our sites, and I bet you they all have the exact same structure: site, secured, URL, path. So we can just array merge those. But we might want them to be a little different. So let's imagine we're going to have them different right now. So let's return view home, and then just pass those in uniquely for now. And so we'll say linked is linked, and parked is parked. While I'm doing this, Marcel, should we do anything else before we build out a really rudimentary view?
I don't know if that's already too specific, because I mean, theoretically you could have one site that has multiple links. So actually a link is kind of a relation.
So let's go back to Symposium and let's do another link. Valet link. So do you know what the syntax for link is off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's just the name of the site that you want to link to.
So I could do Symposium app, because the live site is actually Symposium app. So now we're going to have Symposium linked twice. Great call. Pull on a turtleneck and pull the sites out of course, that's... Sorry, I'm doing like 10,000 things at once. What else do I work with besides Laravel? Vue, React, Vue native script, React native, basically. We used to do like expression engine and stuff, but not anymore. Oh, Craft CMS and Statamic. Nice to see which ones are linked and which are parked. Yeah, that's why I'm sending them through as separate arrays, so we can have the linked and the parked separate. So we have Symposium and Symposium app, which are both the same site. They're different sites in this mindset, but they're served from the same app. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
So
they have the same path.
Yeah. So we need to treat those in our minds as the same thing with different aliases, basically, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we should probably do some work to join them before we pass it to the view. So we want to group by, I think. And you know what? We don't have to all of them. We can just keep them as a collection now that I think about this.
I still find it a bit weird that Symposium doesn't show up for the parked sites.
I thought the same thing. I kind of expected it to be there.
I don't think that Valet is actually filtering them out. At least I wouldn't expect it.
Did I type it wrong? Symposium. You know what we can do? We can do I can do a post-it link and see if it disappears from right here.
Yeah.
And it does. Wow. It must be filtering and had no idea.
Okay.
All right. So what is erroring here? No calls to DD. Okay, got it. All right. So I wanted to group it by site. What was it? Path or something?
Yeah.
Path. And then now let's see what we get. So this should now be one that's Symposium, and then it's got 2 entries into it, which are its 2 links. Perfect. Great call on that, Marcel.
So we might want to do that for all sites, right? So we merge them first. So we have them all in the same structure.
Well, we're gonna display these a little differently, right? Because all of the parked sites. Well, I guess that's a good point. So we can group these by their path, even though they're just going to be.
Yeah, I used to create Laravel Nova packages. I have, to be honest, I still need to take a look at the whole maintenance stuff. We're just doing so much. So yeah, I haven't done that in a while. And I also haven't created any new ones.
Okay, so yeah, so they're now all the same shape. Good call on that. Even if we display them in different spots. So
yeah.
Okay, great.
So
okay, go ahead.
If we start with the view now, maybe we end up being lost in UI niceties.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
just keep it here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could just take care of one object that holds these sites that has this functionality that we need. So, for example,
so go ahead.
Yeah, where we can, for example, get the linked or the used driver. I don't even know if the current site in Valet provides this, but so that we have one object.
Go ahead.
Yeah, where we can pull in some of the information that we have in this Notion list that we want to show at some point.
Yeah, I love that. So Felix says, would it be better to merge them before the group by? The reason not is because I do think that in the Vue we may want to differentiate links versus parks. So I think right now I want to keep them separate. All right, so we need basically an array. Well, I don't know if are these arrays? Yeah, they're arrays. No, they're.
But only because of the all.
Yeah, so it's really going to be a path and then a collection. So this is going to be links, right? And path will be a string, and links will be an array or a collection. Can I do this? I'm trying to remember what's the like that? Is that how you do it with the new one? Apparently not. Something doesn't like this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you not do that? Isn't there a way to do like union types in PHP now? Maybe I don't have the right version of PHP yet running locally.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So anyway, we'll just keep it like this. So we want the path. So this path equals path. This links equals links. And I'm not going to use PHP 8 syntax because I know I at least want it to work on older versions of PHP. So if anybody sees me using like PHP 7 syntax, stop me because we want to keep old school stuff. Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about creating the UI at some point. All right. So we have protected path, protected links. Okay, so you said some useful things we can do. We can say like something like which driver it matches.
Yeah, or like get minimum PHP version, what Kai suggested. I'm just wondering,
hey, Anna.
Should we pass in the string of the path and the array of the links, or should we path in the side objects from Valet? Because, I mean, we're just converting it to an array because of the all.
This thing right here?
But...
Well, yeah, but I stopped converting it to array. You notice we're not doing all anymore. So this is actually what we get back, which is basically a collection with... so the item itself is just an array.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Felix, I would say if y'all could stop me using PHP 7 and PHP 8 syntax, I'm going to try and write old nasty PHP here, so that if we do need to move this back to PHP 5.6, it can still work. So if you notice me using it, please stop me.
Are there actually any usage statistics that you know of how many people use Valet in 5.6?
No, but I can tell you from our issues that there's still a lot of people because anytime something doesn't work on PHP 5.6, people will say, hey, I still have to maintain this old PHP 5.6 app and I love Valet. Can you help me out? So I don't know the statistics, but those people are vocal enough to actually come on to GitHub issues and mention it. So, but I might be willing to say, I think you can use, Kai, you can use short array syntax in PHP 5.6, can't you?
I think.
I'm pretty darn sure you can. Yeah, I was introduced in 5.4. So I may be inclined to just say, hey, y'all, we can, if you want to use this particular site, it's got to be when you're on your modern PHP versions. Because even those folks who have to maintain Laravel or like PHP 5.6 apps, they don't necessarily do it all day, every day. So I'm okay if we end up having, but let's just at least not use like fancy 8.0 stuff. So you were just saying, let's build this thing out. So we've got the driver, we've got the minimum PHP version. Is there anything else we want to, is secured?
Right, yeah.
Is there anything else we had talked about wanting to build out here on each one? The driver, PHP version, secured, and then the contextual we can build out later. Okay. All right, so let's think about what's going to be the easiest to figure out. So this right here is going to be us actually finding it, basically, right? Like look up Composer.json.
The is secured one should be the easiest because I just looked at it. If you type Valet parked, which you shouldn't to not show any sites again,
it actually gives you that
there is like
right?
a check mark which shows SSL yes or no.
So it's
So
interesting
it
because
should be in the array actually,
a site
or at
itself
least
isn't necessarily secured though, right? Because it's a link that can be secured or not. So you could have one of your links secured and one of your links
right.
not secured.
Yeah.
So I feel like a site, we might have to make a first class object for a link or something.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
many sites will only have one link. And we'll just call it link right now and figure out where we're going to go.
Yeah, the feature that you can secure specific links actually has bitten me recently, because I was just calling Valet secure and I expected it to secure everything, but it only is, if you just call Valet secure, it only secures the latest link.
Got it.
I don't know. I guess you can call Valet secure and then pass in the URL or the link, so it secures that one, but I'm not sure.
I don't use links almost at all, so I'm not actually sure. Kai is watching my unread Telegram and message notifications go up over time. All right, so this is going to have an is secure, and then this is going to convert all of our links into links. So we can do collect links, map, link, return, new link, link. How many times can you say link? All right, so this is a collection of links. This is a string path. Is secured, will not be. Map into, you probably can map into. I've never even used map into. Does map into just let you say a class and that's it? If so, I love it. I hope so. If so, thank you for teaching me something, Felix. All right, would you say is secure or is secured? Probably secured, right?
Secured, yeah.
Okay. Her new master sword. I want to play some Zelda now. Okay. So actually, you know, I think once we have the link, I want to extract it out. So what are the things we have in the link? We've got site secured URL and path. So site secured URL.
Secured? Isn't that what we... Oh, yeah. If you want to pass it in. Yeah, right. Oh, there it is. Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Okay. And I honestly might make the constructor require all four of these and then just make a static constructor from array or something like that. But right now we don't need to worry about it too much. So we've got site. What was the next one? Secured. We also might want to convert that to like a Boolean because right now it's obviously not path. Can you provide something similar to Titan/checkmate? Can you tell me more about what you mean by that? Okay, so items. I'm going to find one that's secured. X. Okay.
With a space before the
with
X.
a space in front of it because it's formatted for a table. But that's okay. We can work with that. So we can say link secured is empty, basically.
Right.
Oh, is it not is empty? It's empty. There you go.
Just empty, yeah.
Oh, John is saying, can this thing itself... Oh, that's a great idea. So for anybody who doesn't know, Laravel's... Do we have a checkmate that's live that is publicly accessible? I don't think we do, because again, it shows a lot of stuff. Checkmate is something that checks all your Laravel app dependencies and tells... well, at least their Laravel app versions, and later it'll check their dependencies. And it says, for all of your sites that you have registered, it's on Laravel 6.2, you need to upgrade it to 6.5, or it's on 5.6, you need to upgrade it to at least whatever. So it's sort of like that Laravel version site we made, but for your specific apps. And so he's suggesting, can we do that in here, which I think is a really great idea. Thanks, John. That's like definitely advanced stuff. But let's just put it in here anyway. Like checkmate, is this Laravel version still secure / up to date? Yes, should be only one bang. You're right. Thank you for catching that. Not empty, not double, not empty. This is why we stream this. All right, we have about 20 minutes because I got a call right after this. So we can just say this secured. Okay. So minimum PHP version, we'd actually have to dive into the stuff. Driver. You want to do driver next, Marcel, or is there something else on your mind?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Okay.
driver should be easier.
All right. So in theory, with driver, we're reproducing what Valet is doing in
Mm,
server.php, which
yeah.
is, go ahead.
So I guess we have to loop over all the drivers, but we would need to do this
Yes.
probably for all sites. So
Yep.
for every site, we would need to check all drivers and see which one returns true first.
Okay. It looks like there's a method for
Guess.
it. Valet driver assign. And that does the work of looping for one.
Mm,
So if we were
yeah.
to just, so Valet site path, site name, and URI, it requires you to bring in this, which apparently is not pulled in by default. So we might actually have to pull this in ourselves. We'll see. I mean, we wouldn't put it in here, but so Valet site path is going to be
This
this
path.
path. Site name is kind of surprising to me that it cares,
Yeah.
but it's going to be something we can get out of the first link. Basically, this links first name, which means we need to make all of
Why
our
links?
because the name.
If a site doesn't have links.
Well, if the site doesn't have links, then it doesn't exist, right? Because in here we mapped all of our parked ones into be grouped by path as well. So everyone that's grouped. So let me just show it. Links is basically. So these are all structured the same, right? Path, and then this collection right here is links. So when it's parked, there's only one link, right? But that link
Okay.
is still the
Right.
only way to get
Yeah.
the site name.
Okay.
All right, so we've got name. You know what we could do? We should make things for this because that's not the only time we're gonna be able to need that. So public function name, return. Oops. This links first name, and then on the link we also need to make methods for those. Oops. And then we want secured. We've got URL and then path. And what is site?
That's probably the name, I guess. So it would be
Oh. So name's
Symposium
actually going
or
to be site. Okay. So we've got site, URL, path, and secured. Kind of makes me want to just do this as much as I like prefixing mine with is. It's just because it's the same structure, right? So thanks,
yeah,
Andre.
site is the
So
name. Yeah.
for anyone who's new to streaming, unfortunately, your chats come to us about 7 to 8 seconds after you send them because you're seeing our video about 8 seconds later. So still give us helpful input. But if we ever it looks like we're ignoring you, we're not ignoring you. It's just that it didn't come through in time. And in the stream, you should be able to see your chats when they actually come through in the upper left-hand corner right above Marcel's head. Okay. So we were on site. We wanted to give a site a name, and now it's going to name. So in our driver, we now can just say this name. And then URI is going to be URL. So it's going to be, this name is going to be, okay, so the name, shoot, so they don't always have the same URL, right? I wonder if we can just pass a single URL in from any of them and hope that the driver handles it correctly.
I think so because if it's linked, I actually wonder why the driver needs the name and the URL.
Me too. I absolutely.
I thought it would just need the path.
Yeah, let's go look. I was very surprised by that same thing. All right, so find a drive that can serve the incoming requests. So site path looks for custom drivers, and then it takes all of your custom drivers and then all of the drivers in the driver's path. And then it also adds all of, I don't know what the difference between this and this is. Static custom site driver. I don't know. Anyway. And then you add in all the drivers that we actually have built in. And then for each of them, it just asks, do you serve it? And it's
there we pass the name.
Yeah, so we pass the path, the name, and this mutate URI of the URI. But the mutate URI is being called on the driver itself, so I don't know why that even matters. So let's go find a driver. And serves site path, site name, URI. Yeah, so it doesn't care about site name and URI. It might be just because it's like a just in case a driver cares, but most of them won't, you know?
Yeah.
So if sites are parked, you have multiple possible drivers in each one, right? Each each site, whether it's parked or linked, could be served by multiple possible drivers, which is why we have to do this this assign thing. So in theory, we should be able to get back. So let's. I don't know if I think we can just add that file to the auto load. Wait, is Valet driver? Okay, hold on. Let's figure out CLI drivers require.php. Okay, so this is how it's auto-loading all of those. So I feel like we have to auto-load. Oh, wait, we have to either add these to our config or better.
Or to Composer.
If we pick just this one file to Composer, will it get them correctly? Will it get these paths
I don't know.
right? Okay, you never know until you try, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oops. Files is going to be this, and so this is going to be. Ooh, but that's a vendor file. You can't even put a vendor file in there. Okay. So let's just put it in an let's put it in app service provider, and see if that works. And if not, we'll have to put it somewhere more like raw. So require once. Good Lord, this is nasty. Vendor. Oops. There's got to be a better way to do this. Vendor Laravel Valet. And then what is that? CLI drivers require. Yeah, I thought that would happen. Did I type it wrong?
Did you provide a path? Yeah, you didn't provide a path. So it's now trying to load it from the providers folder.
Is it root path or base path? Base path.
Base path, yeah.
What is going on with that lag? So let's, oh, it's already in use because we're being served by Valet. So it's included here,
yes.
So we already have it. Great. Jeez.
Yeah.
So this whole app will break the moment you run it outside of Valet. So,
which is fine.
Which is fine because it's only for Valet people. Great. So let's, for right now, not even memoize it. Let's just try this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then use Valet driver. Okay, so now we need to actually try it. So we have not mapped these all into sites yet. So let's map into, as we learned from somebody in here who's wonderful. Thank you, whoever that was. Site class, which I think we need to import. And then map into site class. And then let's say dump and die linked first, and then what is it? Driver? Okay, driver. Let's see what we get. I got double site import. I do? No, I think it's only once. All right. Argument passed to site construct must be an instance. Oh, it's the wrong site.
Yeah, it's the Valet site.
Saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under. Oh, because you don't pass in the entry.
Yeah, so it's passing it.
We need the key for the first one. Line 18.
Isn't that the map into now? So the map into is passing the array and not each.
Yes, but also they're telling me there's two sites here, so we also need use app site. Thank you, y'all. I just didn't realize it first. Yep, got it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So when they map it in, yeah, you're right. It's the map in. So we need to not map into, but we instead need to map with keys. Oh, no, just each. No, we do need map with keys. So I'm trying to remember the syntax for map with keys, but I don't remember.
Why the keys though?
What's that? The keys are the path, which is what we need.
But the path is also, yeah, because of the.
But you're right.
Right.
But if the path is available not in the key, then we can just do a normal map, right?
Yeah.
So this would be a site, and then return new site with site. All right. So site. Oh, woof. Hold on. A site is going to be a collection of links. So this is going to be links. And
Yeah,
then it's
because
going to be
root did.
links
Yeah.
first path. No. Path.
Why did
And
Marcel
then
shave? Yeah. That happens from time to time.
I kind of think this is what we want, but I'm not actually 100% sure. Let's just see if it works. Syntax error, unexpected part.
Yeah, semicolons missing.
Yep.
Yep.
Must be a type array object given. Is link supposed to be an array? Wait, hold on. Passed into
because
app
now
site construct.
I guess it's a collection now.
Which should be fine. That's why Adam Wythen hates type hinting. Hey, we got a driver. Look at that. Hey.
Okay, cool.
All right. So each of them now has their driver available.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's
really,
any nice way of displaying this driver is for Laravel, so we just have the class names.
Yeah.
But I think that's fine for now.
I'm not going to make these tests, but I want to stub them out while I'm thinking about them. Site test. Yes. Okay, so what we want to do for this, let's see, what are the things we have just manually tested? We want to say it gets the right driver. Okay, so what other things do we want to test on the site object? Yeah, we can make sure it gets the name and the name off the link.
Yeah, name driver and minimum PHP version as soon as we have that.
Okay, and then we can also look at the link. Oops.
Yeah, right.
It gets, so let's see what we have on link. I guess just those four. Name. And really these are less about making sure those accessors work and really just making sure that it's parsing everything correctly. Mark test incomplete. And then we'll just do that 4 times. Oops. That's not what I expected. That's what I expected. All right, so name, URL, path, and secured. And we will do that another day because I don't want to waste our last 10 minutes on that. Okay. What's next, Marcel? What does your brain want us to do next?
Should we finish up the minimum PHP version?
Yeah, let's do that. I think that'll be fun. All right, so that's on a site. So we need to basically, given a path, which we have, look up composer.json. So let's say if to do, see if composer.json exists. If so, parse out PHP version and return if possible. If not, or if PHP not parsable, return maybe null. Because I don't think it's necessarily an exception. All right,
yeah,
so,
there could be like WordPress sites that don't have a Composer.json file.
Okay. Do you think we need to handle anything other than composer.json in the root? I feel like we don't, right?
I don't think so, yeah.
Okay. So path does not have a slash at the end, right? I don't think it does.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. And then the simplest way to do it, I think, would probably be if file exists, composer path, return null. Otherwise, let's load it in. Composer contents.
Just out of curiosity, why are you using the file facade in here instead of just doing file exists?
Disk. Oh, you mean the Laravel or the because it makes the tests easier.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Great question though. Okay. So we actually need to call this one of them. So let's call minimum PHP version on our first site. Oops. So dd linked first minimum PHP version. Oops. A seam. Yeah, it's streaming again is a wonderful thing. I like, so it loaded. So now we just got to JSON parse it, or JSON decode. JSON decode. I never remember which is true. Give us arrays or objects. Yep. Okay. I like objects. Hey, do we need, what's the default? Is the default false?
Yes, yeah, okay, by default it's an object.
All right, so we need to find require PHP. So we want a data get. So PHP equals data get target composer contents. Key is going to be require.php. And then if PHP return null. 7.4. Great. Vince says
any reason to
not
just keep,
go ahead.
Yes. The whole composer data could be nice to see at times. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Marcel? Sorry.
Yeah, we might come up with a feature where we could use the data.
Mm-hmm. So if we don't have it, how should we return it?
Don't forget, sites could have pipes for PHP versions. Yeah. Or any kind of semantic check.
Yeah. Right now, I think we literally just return the string and that's it. And then later we figure out if we want to do anything interesting with it. So
I wonder if there's a version compare in PHP.
There is. Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know if version compare handles pipes.
I think it might, but it handles a lot more than you'd think. And so we could definitely version compare it against a couple, like what you're running or something. Oh, that's a great idea. We could say, does this run on your current version of PHP?
Right. Yeah.
I love that. Good thinking. All right. So composer contents equals this composer file. And then PHP equals data get that. And then if it doesn't, yep. Okay, cool. So that one's done. So this is going to be returning a string or null, I think is how we would do that. Am I doing this wrong, or is that whole thing only available in PHP 8? Maybe that's why. Oh, you know what? Return type hints aren't even available in older versions of PHP. Okay.
Yeah.
Data get, Felix says, how does data get respond to null? It just returns a null. I wonder, so you know what we could say? Return PHP. Oh, nope, that's also a new PHP thing. Never mind. I wonder if you can access classes from Composer itself. What do you mean by classes? Okay. So Composer file, unfortunately, this could potentially return a null though, right? Should we instead return an empty array or null? I feel like let's return null for now. So if composer contents return null, unfortunately, which makes this kind of gross, but if PHP is null and you're returning
why did we
null,
have to make this check?
Wouldn't
right data get wouldn't data get handle this?
You know what?
If we
Maybe
pass
it
in
would.
null?
You're probably right, actually. Let's just try it real quick. I'm going to open up this really great app that I love a lot called Tinkerwell. It's made by a friend of mine. I know the author, okay? Data get null something dot something. Yep, you're right.
Yep.
Awesome. So we can just data get null. Should spell composer correctly. All right. If PHP is null and you're returning null. Oh, right. Good call. If PHP is null, return null. Good call.
Yeah. So we can just return the data again.
Oh, look at that. So clean. Hey,
perfect.
I love it. Heard the guy that made Tinkerwell is pretty good at PHP. He really is. All right, so I've got maybe 5 minutes. Marcel, what else is on your brain? Anything, or do you feel like we've got a good handle on this? We should just write it up.
Yeah, I think we should just finish here now.
Okay.
Before
I get excited about something and then
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't have a view here, but we can at least leave it with a DD linked parked. I think we made really good progress on this. Okay, so let's real quick go to Notion like we always do and say, what did we do? Built a Laravel app, required Valet, tweaked Valet a bit to work in a Laravel app, got a list of all linked and parked sites, mapped, linked, and our sites into site class, links to a site into link class, built out accessors for all basic info in those classes, stubbed tests, and then we also built out more complex accessors for Composer.json contents, PHP constraints. Is there anything else we built? Oh, driver that matches this site. Cool. That's a lot of work in one basically hour-long session. All right, so let's oh, I don't know why it's.
Oh, version compare does seem to handle pipes just fine.
Beautiful. I thought it might.
Cool.
Because I know we used it in Laravel versions. All right, so this is basically require or get sites list from Valet and build intro. Oh, no, hold on. Can't do it there because I need to add you as a co-author. So real quick, I'm hiding it, everybody, so you don't see all the sites in my my GitHub desktop. So this is, we need to add a new one. Add existing repository. Sorry, everybody, I know you can't see this. Choose local path, and the local path will be fallback. And then we open it, add the repository, and now we can uncensor. All right. So the cool thing about GitHub Desktop, everybody, first of all, you can review all the work that you've done, and you can turn individual things that you're doing on and off, either at this level or even at the individual line level. But also, you can very easily add a co-author, although it's not letting me do a co-author, which is one of the main reasons I use it. Why is it? Maybe it only lets you do a co-author if you've already pushed it up to a GitHub repo.
Maybe.
Let me do that real quick because I want everybody to see it. So I'm going to go in GitHub. I know you all can't see it again. I'm going to create a new repo under the Titan organization. And I'm going to name it Valet Fallback, I guess. And then if we actually launch this, we'll put it under the Laravel organization, but I got to have it working and run it by Taylor first. Fallback website for Valet. And then I'll create a repository, and then I can uncensor, and then I can push it up. And I'll push up not this version that we've done here, but I'm trying to push up the early version so I can make sure this commit allows me to add Marcel as a co-author. And let's see if GitHub Desktop gets that now. Okay, I'm going to do this and see if GitHub Desktop gets it. Now. There we go. So it turns out GitHub Desktop only gives you this if it knows it's connected to GitHub. Oh, yeah. So it's not co-authors in Git. It's co-authors in GitHub. There is a way to add it yourself. There's a specific syntax that it adds at the bottom of it. And Jose, who works with me, doesn't use GitHub Desktop, so he just copied that as a snippet. But I find this is much easier to do. So I just go in here, and then I just add Marcel Pociot, which I assume is
on GitHub it's just M Pociot.
Okay, M Pociot. Search for user. All right, there we go. And so then we do that same summary that I was writing out here, which is get site lists from Valet and build into objects. And then we can say get linked sites from Valet, get parked sites from Valet, build site in park classes, stub tests, and build accessors for Composer. Should have just copied this from Notion. PHP constraints and what was the third thing we did? Oh, driver. Great. We commit to main, and now he's going to show up as a co-author in that, which I freaking love. All right, so last couple seconds. Cool. Marcel, next time, do you want to, or we could put it up for vote, do you want to finish this? Or do you want to work on the other thing we had planned on, which is extensions? And if you want to finish this, I can just do this on my own free time, and then we can work on extensions 2 weeks from now, or we can keep working on this 2 weeks from now. What's your gut tell you?
I'd love working on this some more. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that we can add. So
I agree. Cool. Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say that. So all right. So 2 weeks from now, exact same time, 9 o'clock Eastern, same stream, same bat channel. we knew the commit message would have been whip. We will do this exact same thing, and we'll keep working on the same thing. So I won't touch it between now and then, so that you won't miss out on anything. So thank you all so much. Marcel, thank you so much for hanging out, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it was so much fun. Yeah,
you're a great
looking forward to
pair.
continue working on this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, me too. Thank you all for hanging out so much. You're all great. We'll see y'all soon.
See you.